My name is Bill Gravel, and I'm judge here in Williamson County Precinct 3. We're here today for our truancy court. The court will first call cause number 3TC150150. It's the matter of the child of Laura Foster in a truant court, Precinct 3 of Williamson County. Ms. Foster, are you here? Good. And is your parent here with you? Are you Dad? Good. Would both of you come forward, please, and stand here at the front and center for me, please. Good morning. I want to thank you for being in court today. Let me explain a little bit about who's in court with us. Then I'm going to read you your rights under the law, Ms. Foster, so you have a clear understanding where we're at. And Dad, at any time, you can just raise your hand and go, "Hey, Judge, I've got a question." Okay. Our goal here today is not to harm anybody. It's to get to the root of a problem, if one exists. Fair enough? Now, to your far right and my far left is a representative from the high school that your daughter attends. In just a moment, if she enters a plea of true to what she's been charged with, then we'll hear from the school district as far as how many absences, full days or part days, that we're talking. As well, the state's prosecutor from our county attorney's office is here today as well. She's to your right, and I want you to know that their interest today is not your interest. Their interest today is to represent the state of Texas. Does that make sense? Her responsibility is to represent the state, your responsibility is to represent yourself, and my responsibility is to make sure that everybody plays fairly, right? And then to your left is a wonderful lady who leads a great organization in our community called Blue Bonnet Trails. And Blue Bonnet Trails is a nonprofit organization that offers great resources for students and for parents, helping them to move in the right direction and get on the right track. Before I read to you the Truant Conduct Right information sheet that we have, I'd like for all of you, in just a second, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. When I ask you to raise your hand, I'm going to give you an oath, and I'm going to place you under the oath for everyone who's here that's not an attorney. And it's really just a promise to this court that you're going to tell the truth. And that's really what the court needs today, is for everybody to be truthful so we can get to the root of the issue. So if you're here today and you're not an attorney, if you would raise your right hand for me, please. Now, Ms. Foster, I'm going to read to you some rights that you have under the laws of the great state of Texas. And when I'm finished with that, I want to give you and your dad an opportunity to ask any questions about these rights. First, I want you to know that you have the right to plead not true to the allegations that you've been charged with here today. This plea will require the petitioner to provide the truant conduct beyond a reasonable doubt. In just a moment, I'm going to ask you for these allegations that have been filed against you. You have a right to plead true or not true. And true simply means, Judge, I did it, and not true means, Judge, I did not do it. So again, you have the right to plead not true to these allegations. Secondly, I want to remind you that you have a right to a trial by jury, and you will not be charged a fee for exercising that right. And you have a right to a trial by jury, and the jury must unanimously find that you have engaged in truant conduct before the court may enter into what's called remedial orders. Third, you have the right to an interpreter. If you're deaf or if you do not speak English or understand English clearly, the court will afford you the opportunity for an interpreter or for a translator. Let me just stop and ask. At this time, would you make a request before the court for an interpreter or translator, or can you understand everything that the court's communicated thus far?
Yes, sir.
Good. You also have a right to confront the witnesses against you, which means in just a moment, if you enter a plea of true, the school's going to have some allegations against you for a number of days of unexcused absences, full or part days. You have a right to ask them questions, and you have a right to challenge those accusations as well, too. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. You also have the right not to testify against yourself. In other words, in just a moment, after you enter a plea of true or not true, you don't have to say anything else if you don't want to. You can be completely silent. That's your right under the laws of the great state of Texas and the Constitution of the United States. All right. Number 6, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. You do not have the right to have counsel appointed for you, though the court may elect to appoint an attorney to represent you in the interest of justice. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. You have the right to appeal the decision of this court. It's all right. You can say, I don't like the decision of the court, and I can appeal that. And you have 21 days from the date of this adjudication hearing to appeal the decision of the court. Do you understand that? Yes. All right. The state also has the right to appeal as well. Are you aware of that from the state side? Number 8, if you are found to have engaged in truant conduct, you have the right of the records in this case to be sealed when you turn 18 years of age, but only if you comply with the court's order in this case. If the records are sealed, they may not be revealed or used against you in any way. Do you understand that? Now, Ms. Foster, do you understand the rights that I've informed you of orally here in court today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Dad, do you understand these rights that
Yes,
I've
sir.
afforded her to? Now, do you have any questions in relation to the rights and the information that I've read to you thus far?
No.
No, sir.
Ms. Foster? All right, good. Now, this is an opportunity where you have the right to plead true or not true. So before we begin, let me ask my clerk. Elizabeth, did the student in this matter file did the student file an answer yet in relation to this case, or has no answer been entered in court?
No answer.
Okay. All right, so in just a moment, I'm going to ask you for what you've been charged with from the school district. Do you plead true or not true? The school's alleging that you've had 10 or more part days or full days of unexcused absences. And before I allow you to enter that verdict of true, I want to ask them a couple of questions. Fair enough? All right, counsel, from the state, was there a proper referral filed with your office from the school district?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and from the school district, did you implement all of the orders that you've been mandated to under the new state laws for Truant court?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
All right, and how many unexcused part days or full days absences in relation to this student are we here for today?
Your Honor, it was 15 absences in the last 4 weeks.
15 absences within the last 4 weeks. So we're going to stop with the information there, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to enter a plea in this matter. Dad, what entering a plea simply means is that if she enters the plea of true, and let me just read for you the language here. It says, I agree that the allegations are true, and I waive my rights to a jury trial against self-incrimination and to confront any witnesses against me. I understand that the remedial orders will now be entered into by the judge in this case. So if she enters a plea of true in this. If she enters a plea of not true in this, she is saying, I wish to enforce my rights to trial and for the petition to be proven up in the allegations of truant conduct beyond a reasonable doubt. I understand that I have the right to trial in this case, and I do or do not wish to waive that right. I understand that I may not be charged any fees for exercising my rights for a jury trial. Does that make sense? Now, Ms. Foster, before I allow you to enter a response in this matter of either true or untrue, I want you to lean over and talk with Dad to make sure that you guys are on the same page before you enter a plea. Mr. Foster, I apologize, but for security reasons, our deputy asked that everybody just keep their hands out of their pocket. And I know in court we all are a little nervous or tense, but he is here to protect your safety and protect the safety of the court. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Foster, were you able to talk with your dad about a response to this question? All right, in this matter that you've been charged, do you plead true or not true?
True.
All right, so you're admitting in court that you agree to the allegations and you waive your right to a jury trial. Also, you waive your right against self-incrimination and to confront your witnesses. And you understand that the court's going to enter into a remedial order, and that will be my responsibility as a judge. But I promise you, Ms. Foster, with entering the plea of true, that I want to hear your side of the story, because I've learned as a judge is that there's always 2 or sometimes 3 sides to every story. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what I would like to do is I actually have a child's response answer sheet here that has the verdict options, that response answers on those of true and not true. And I'd like to hand this to you guys and have you sign this for me. And then we'll begin to talk about what's going on. Fair enough? All right, thank you, Ms. Foster. Now, before I hear from you, let's hear from the school exactly how many days we're talking, what days we're talking that she's missed, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak, all right? And I just want you to relax and be honest, because all of these folks are standing here are not to harm you. We're going to work together as a team and help you get moving in the right direction. Fair enough? And Dad, remember, keep your hands out of your pocket, or Roger's going to come talk to you again. All right, from the school district, tell me about the absences in relation to this young lady.
She has 15 absences in the last 4 weeks. It started September 10th through the 15th, September 18th through the 23rd, and then 5 parts are full days, partly first and second period, and then third and fourth period.
And was there a parent conference?
Yes, Your Honor. We had requested a parent conference after the third absence, and it was attended by assistant principals and some teachers as well.
And which parent attended the parent conference, or did both parents attend?
The father did attend. Mom did not attend.
Okay. And tell me about, was there a parent meeting? How did that go?
Yes, Your Honor. I did have a parent conference after the 8th absence. Had the father come in, and we visited about the unexcused absences.
Can you tell me about her grades? How's she doing in school and classes?
She currently is failing algebra with a 60 and biology with a 50, Your Honor.
And how's she doing in her other classes?
She seems to be doing fine, Your Honor. She's very capable.
And what grades is she making in there?
We have an 85, 87, and it looks like right at a 90.
Okay. And what classes was she struggling in again? Algebra and what?
Biology.
And biology. So, Ms. Foster, it sounds like you're doing really well in school other than those 2 classes, right? Sounds like your grades are doing really, really well. Tell me, and I want to hear from you, and then I want to hear from Dad. Tell me what's going on, because that's a lot of unexcused absences, and they all are back to back. So something's going on, and Ms. Foster, I just need for you to be honest, because if you'll be forthright with me, we've got a lot of great resources at our disposal, and we can solve the problem if you'll let me know what's going on.
I only skipped 1 class not that long ago. It wasn't a big deal then, but after a while I just decided to stop going to class as much because at the beginning of the semester my grades were doing okay, but all the kids started picking on me and calling me names because I knew the answers and they didn't. So I just decided not to go to school anymore because I didn't want to have to deal with that every day.
Have you talked to your dad about this, or have you been pretty quiet about it? Did you tell your dad what's going on in school?
My mom and dad were recently divorced, and I only see my dad every other weekend, and my mom's never home. So, no, sir.
Right. Well, let me say this, Ms. Foster, and I want to hear from your dad. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me?
No, sir.
I'd like to ask you a question. Do you think you're smart?
I don't know.
No, I think that's the wrong answer. Because the right answer is, yes, Judge, I'm smart. Look at my grades. And Ms. Foster, you shouldn't be embarrassed about that. You shouldn't be ashamed of that. Now, we're going to do some things here in a minute with remedial orders that are going to help you, but I want you to know what I see standing before me is a wonderful young lady who has a bright future. And you shouldn't be embarrassed about the fact that people pick on you. And we're going to help you figure out how to manage that. You should be proud of the fact that you're a smart lady, because I want you to know this, young lady. You're valuable to your school, you're valuable to this state of Texas, and you're valuable to God. We're going to walk through this together. Fair enough? All right, Dad, tell me what's going on. What do you see happening?
This is the first I've heard about this, Your Honor. My ex-wife and I have recently divorced. I only get to see Laura every other week on the weekends. And when I see her, she tells me everything is going great in school and that there's no problems. I mean, previous years she's been straight A student, so I do not know how we got to this point where we're here today, Your Honor.
All right, anything else you'd like to tell me, Dad?
what can we do to get her on the right track and take care of this bullying and making fun of?
Yeah.
She shouldn't be experiencing this in school.
You're absolutely right. She shouldn't be experiencing that in school, and we're going to come up with some tools together. It's going to require some input from the school district as well, and maybe even the state if you have some recommendations. So, Ms. Foster, we do what are called remedial orders. Those are just some guidelines of some things that you have to do that the court wants you to do. And I'm promising you, if you'll trust me, that if you'll follow through with these remedial orders, and if everybody else will follow through with their part of the remedial orders, we're going to make things that are better for you. What I would like to do in this instance, Dad, we have a little bit of time, and there is nothing more important than making sure that we're taking care of Ms. Foster in the right path. What I'd like to do, and state you're obviously welcome to be a part of that conversation, but we have case managers here in our court, and the case managers are parents. They're experienced. They work with young people a lot, and I like on occasion for the students and their parents to talk with the case managers so they can come up with a game plan and perhaps some recommendations to the court. So what I'd like to do in this instance, and state you're free to be a part of the conversation, Dad, let's take 5 minutes, and I'd like for you and for Laura and for the prosecutor from the state to visit with Miss Stacy, our case manager. And then when you come back, we'll assemble just like this, and we'll look at some remedial orders. But if you'll spend 5 or 10 minutes just being honest with Miss Stacy, like you've been with me here in court, she's going to come back with some remedial orders that are going to be amazing, and we're going to help you get going in the right direction. Do you have an objection with visiting with our case manager, Dad?
No, you're
All right, Laura, do you have an objection in visiting with her? Good. No. State, is there a problem with this for you?
No, Your Honor.
Good. Ms. Foster, the court's just been made aware of that your mom's actually showed up this morning to the court proceedings. Would you have an objection with her standing up here with you? Because as a judge, I think if we can get everybody involved, we can find a great solution. Do you mind if your mom stands up here with you?
No, sir. That'd be really good.
Okay, good. Mom, come on up here and stand up here on this side. This side for me, please. Mom, Laura entered a plea of true while ago in court, saying that she has missed quite a few days of school. And what we did is we had Laura and Dad visit with our case manager, our juvenile case manager here in our court, along with the state's prosecutors, to see if we could find some remedial orders that would help her to be successful and get back on track at school. What she shared in open court, though, Mom, is that the reason she has stopped going to school is because kids have been bullying her and picking on her because she knows all the answers. And I told her that she is valuable to Texas, she's valuable to her school, and she's valuable to our God. And we want to do everything we can to help her be successful. Fair enough?
Yeah.
And when we go here in just a moment, if you have any questions, I want to hear from you, because I think all of us working together can come up with a great solution. All right, so the remedial orders, I'm going to give, well, let me hear from Miss Stacy. I want to hear Ms. Foster, what did you think about visiting with Miss Stacy? Was that helpful for you?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. Was there anything that you discovered from visiting with Miss Stacy that would be helpful for you in these remedial orders? Okay. Is it all right if I hear from her now and see what she has to say?
Yes.
Okay, great. Stacy, what recommendations would you have in this matter?
Well, Miss Foster's parents have been divorced for just a couple of years, so that's been pretty hard on her, and she's adjusting to that. She only sees her dad every other weekend and lives mostly with her mom, but her mom works an awful lot, so she spends a lot of time by herself. I believe that Miss Foster would benefit greatly from being put into Miss Kempner's list of kids that she sees at Eastview High School on her counseling roster, not only to deal with the divorce, but also the bullying that's going on. I also believe that she would benefit greatly from our mentoring program, to have that one person that's right there for her accountability person who's there for her. And we can do that immediately. So that would really be a blessing for her. And not only that, but the tutoring. to be able to help her with those 2 classes that she seems to be struggling in right now.
And remind me again, what were the 2 classes from the school?
Biology and algebra.
All right,
Yes.
I apologize. I forget sometimes. All right. From the state's view, and I do want to ask Bluebonnet Trail in just a moment because I want your input. From the state's view, were there any other remedial orders that you had in mind, or do you think this is sufficient?
We did discuss the possibility of having mom take Laura to school each morning. It seems to be an issue of her missing full days, and she's walking to school is what she told Miss Stacy and I back there. So I think it might be appropriate to set up some sort of transportation situation that gets her to school.
All right. Mom, is that a possibility is it a possibility of you taking her to school every day?
Most days, yes.
Okay, good. Now, and let me say this, I'm going to do the remedial orders in just a moment, but, and I want to encourage both of you as parents, what I see before me is a wonderful young lady. So you guys did an amazing job. What this wonderful young lady needs until the day she's finished with college, she needs a mom and dad that are invested and involved in her life. And I need for you guys to be the adults here and figure out a path to make sure how she gets to school each and every day. Does that make sense? And we're going to work together to do that, and it's not going to be a problem, is it?
No.
All right, I didn't think so. All right, from Bluebonnet Trails, are there any other recommendations for remedial orders that you think may be healthy for this young lady so she can be successful?
Yes, Your Honor, we have a peer support program that I believe Ms. Foster would benefit from, and we also have family counseling that I believe the family would benefit from as well.
All right, I think that's a good recommendation. All right, so these are going to be the remedial orders, and if I skip one, Ms. Stacy or Ms. Elizabeth's going to remind me of this. Your remedial orders from this day until the last day of school. Okay, so from now until the last day of school, these are going to be some things that I'll order you to do. Number one, I'm going to order you to attend school without any unexcused absences. In other words, you need to go to school every day. And mom and dad promised me that they're going to figure out how to get you there, right? All right, what I need from you is to go to school. And I want you to listen to me, Laura. Even if you're sick, I want you to hear this, Judge. I want you to go to school. And you let that school nurse say you're too sick to be at school, and you let them send you home. Fair enough? I want you in school every day of the week. Okay? And if you're sick, they're certainly going to take care of you and allow you not to do that. I'm also going to order you as well to attend the counseling program at Eastview High School. And what was the name of the counselor at the school?
Miss Kempner.
Miss Kempner. Miss Stacy's going to contact Miss Kempner and let her know that you're coming. Mom and Dad, I want you to know there's no expense associated with this. That's a free service that's provided by the school district and by nonprofit organizations that also support that as well. I'm going to order you as well to attend training and be mentored. In other words, the court's going to assign a mentor for you, and we're going to engage in that as well. I'm going to order you to attend the classes that are available at Bluebonnet Trails for peer support, because I think that's really going to help you. And I'm also going to order you as well to participate. I want you to listen to me. I want to order you in school. You need to hear this. I'm going to order you to participate in 30 hours of tutorials. Okay? The school district has tutoring 3 days a week, and so to get that 30 hours in, it's going to take you some time. But I specifically want you to do the tutorials in relation to chemistry and
Biology and algebra.
Biology and algebra. One of these days I'm going to get that right. Do you understand that? Now, the tutoring is a tool there to help you. But as well, Bluebonnet Trails also offers tutoring as well too. So we want to give you all the tools to help you be successful. Now, let me ask you one last question. Do you work, Laura?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work at?
I work in a music studio.
At a music studio. Wow. So what do you do at the music studio?
Primarily office administration.
Okay. And so you make roughly how much a week in income?
I work part-time, so about $100 a week.
And you have some money saved up? You have a little bit of money? All right. So these are going to be the remedial orders of the court. Are there any other remedial orders that I missed in that entire discussion?
You said the peer support. Did you also want to include the family counseling aspect?
Yep, I apologize. Mom and Dad, I'm also going to order you as well through the remedial orders for you that you participate in the peer support. Look, I'm not trying to get you guys married again, and I'm just trying to get you to work together and be on the same page. Fair enough? All right, so these are going to be the remedial orders of the court. I'm also going to assess a $50 court cost fee, which is the worst I can do to you, and I'm going to order you to pay that. All right, Lord, you have the money to pay that, and the court's going to order you to pay that. All right, so here's what's going to happen. Miss Elizabeth's going to print these out, the remedial orders out, and I'm going to give those to you right now in writing, and I'm going to provide a copy to Mom, and I'm going to provide a copy to Dad. I would ask both of you, you're not going to be forced to do this, but I'd love for you to do this. Miss Stacy is amazing, and I'd like for her to give your best contact information, and she's going to give you her private cell number. Her goal is just to come alongside you as parents and help you to be successful, and then also to help Mrs. Forster to be successful as well too. Fair enough? All right, I think that's all that we need. All three of you guys, if you would come over here and stand before Miss Elizabeth, please, and she'll get the papers that you need to sign. All right, Ms. Foster, two last things I want to remind you of the laws of the state of Texas. Number one, I want to remind you that you have the right to appeal the decision of the court. And under the laws of the state of Texas, it expressly points out to you how you can do that. Secondly, I also want you to know that you have the right and that there are proper procedures for sealing your record. Mom and Dad, I want to remind you that under the Family Code 65.201, that you can request those records to be sealed. You can look at the law and follow that. Again, I want to thank you for being here today.